Hey guys, I'm the 50s Kid. This is my E46. This is not the car that I'm doing a video about today. This car's here because I've got to do some other videos on it, but today what I want to talk about is my new E90, which I've been doing a lot of videos on. Hopefully you've been watching along on the channel. I had no history for that vehicle when I bought it. I bought it from a wholesaler. He didn't have any history. It wasn't his original car. But some helpful viewer saw the VIN number on the temporary license plate in the first video that I did. And I guess he works at BMW because he sent me the whole service history on the vehicle. And I have distilled that all into like a spreadsheet so that I can kind of look at it a little more easily. And I just want to go over a couple of things with you guys and share what I've learned about this vehicle. The first big thing is the high pressure fuel pump was replaced at 14,000 miles, which is really early on. So that must have been like a factory recall, you know, it can only have been. Let's see. And then anything interesting? Yeah, at 26,000 miles, they changed the O-rings on the oil pipes to the turbocharger. So there must have been some leaks there, which is kind of interesting. And then they did the same thing at the gearbox connector at the automatic transmission. So that was that little round connector thing, which I wouldn't think that would be leaking so quickly. Very interesting. 39,000 miles. A fuel injector was leaking. They replaced it along with the spark plug and the coil. Now that probably was because there was a misfire and they just replaced all three rather than actually diagnose what the actual problem was. So who knows if that was actually a leaking fuel injector or not, because 39,000 miles is really early for that. Here's one of the big things that I'm super happy about. At 41,000 miles, it says camshaft carrier grooved. And then it says replace it with, they didn't replace the camshaft carriers though, they just installed the Teflon O-rings. So I think that means that, you know, camshaft carrier groove was like the name of the job. You know, they have like just names for the jobs of what all they're going to do. So I think that what that means is it must have been on another sort of recall or something like that, where they knew about the problem and they did a preventative fix. At least I hope so. In case you guys don't know what we're talking about here, the camshafts sit inside of these sort of cam trays, and the cam trays have the camshaft bearings built into them. And the first bearing, there's actually two steel square cut rings, and those are supposed to be the O-rings. Well, because they're steel, they wear into the camshaft ledge. And over time, like if you let this go 100,000 plus miles, it's going to wear little grooves into those trays. So BMW found out about this, I guess, early on, and they replaced it with Teflon O-rings. So apparently this was only like a problem on the early models. I think 2007, 2008, I'm not sure exactly when they switched over. I was planning, when I did the valve cover gasket video, I was planning on removing the cams and inspecting the cam trays, because I assumed that was going to be a problem if it hadn't been replaced. Apparently it has been replaced, which is really cool. So now I might not actually take them out and inspect it, because it just means more tools and more work and everything. But let me know if you guys want me to do that anyway, because I am sort of curious to see what they look like at this point. Let's see, what else? The high pressure fuel pump was replaced again at 50,000 miles. And I don't see any other replacements after that. So it's possible we are still on that particular pump, and the pump that I have has 100,000 miles on it. But then again, this history only really goes up to about 70,000 miles. And after that, I guess maybe the warranty was over or something. And, you know, because they do, when you bought one of these cars, I think you got the first 3 years under warranty, or maybe the first 5 years. Yeah, this actually went up to 2013. So car was built in 2007. That's 6 years. So they had it serviced at the dealer for about 6 years. And then after that, I have no history after that. Yeah, so that was replaced. And then one of the O2 sensors, the pre-cat O2 sensors, was replaced at 61,000 miles. And it doesn't say which one, unfortunately. And here's the one that we all knew, but at 65,757,000 miles, the exhaust turbochargers were replaced. So 65,000 miles, it has 151 now. It's about 86,000 miles that we have on those turbochargers. And that sort of makes sense for the amount of play that we're that we are experiencing there. And it says that the exhaust cams were replaced because of a noise complaint, which I find really interesting. So at 65,000 miles, they were getting some noise complaint. And at 85,000 miles, I can hear a noise. If I rev the thing really, really high and let off the gas, I will hear a little bit of a rattle, just a tiny bit. So that must have been what they were hearing, even less than what I'm hearing now. But hey, I'm glad that they replaced them because that's really, really awesome. I would have liked to have less miles than 85,000 miles on them, but beggars can't be choosers. It's a lot better than having the original turbos in that car because I'd be having to replace them right now. Let's see. The rear window regulator was replaced at that same time, and ironically, it's broken again. So that's kind of weird. Let's see. The brake, I'm skipping over like brake jobs and brake fluid flushes and all that stuff. They replaced the alternator drive belt at 60 at the same mileage, which is weird because the one on there is pretty toasted. Definitely needs to be replaced. I wouldn't have thought that it would have 85,000 miles on it. It's kind of weird, but I guess it does. And they replaced some of the bushings on the front struts, which is why they're decent right now. That was done at 70,000 miles. And that's about all the history I have up until, but you know, after 70,000 miles, the next entry on the list and the last entry on the list is having the airbags replaced at about 122,000 miles. So that recall was done. And that's it. That's all the history that I have on this vehicle. I mean, it's most of the stuff we knew. There's some things we didn't know, like particularly the cam bearing ledge tray. That is really cool to know. I guess I would have found out eventually because I would have ended up doing that job and realizing it was a waste of time, but I might end up doing it anyway just for the sake of the video. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to share this with you. I thought it was kind of interesting. Wanted to make a video about it. So if you liked it, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more E90 videos. I'm the 50s Kid. Thanks a lot for watching.